Let's start by addressing one of the most misunderstood ideas floating around the manifestation space right now: the belief that persistence somehow keeps you stuck. There's been a growing narrative suggesting that continuing to affirm or focus on your desired outcome means you're still in the process of manifesting and therefore not living from the end. That you're signaling to the universe that you don't yet have what you want. Sounds clever on the surface, but it's fundamentally flawed. And today, we're going to explain why. First, let's be clear about something. Persisting is not a manifestation technique. It's a basic English word, and it means to continue in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. It's about consistency. It's about choosing a direction and not wavering. That's it. Nothing mystical or esoterical about it. Now, here's the twist. You've already been persisting your entire life. If your dominant inner dialogue is filled with doubt, fear, or stories about limitation, guess what? That's persistence. You're repeating these same mental patterns daily, often unconsciously, and your external life reflects that. So when people say persistence is a block, what they're really doing is misunderstanding the nature of how the mind and manifestation actually work. It's not persistence that keeps you stuck. It's persisting in unhelpful thoughts, identities, and beliefs that keep you exactly where you are.
That's exactly right, Paul. And this is where clarity is so important, because if you've been unintentionally persisting in negative or disempowering stories, the way out isn't to stop persisting. The solution is to become conscious of what you're persisting in and then choose differently. Let's use a simple analogy. If you want to get stronger, you train regularly. If you want to pass an exam, you study repeatedly. Nobody questions that logic. So why is it when it comes to manifestation, people expect to repeat an affirmation once or twice and instantly reprogram decades of conditioning? The mind is shaped by repetition, and repetition is persistence in action. There's not a limitation, it's a powerful tool. Now, some argue that persistence signals lack, but that's also a misunderstanding of how inner identity is formed. When you're persisting in affirming a new belief, I am loved, I am financially secure, my success isn't inevitable, what you're doing is building a new baseline identity, and you're doing it through the only process that works, which is repetition. You're not trying to get something, you're aligning yourself with a version of you who already has it. And to make that version feel natural, you persist in that state of mind until it becomes dominant.
Let's also address the idea that focusing on the 3D, meaning your current physical circumstances, somehow derails your progress. Again, not true. Your 3D reality is just a feedback loop. It's showing you what you've been persisting in mentally. It's not the enemy, it's data. And it gives you information about what stories that you're currently living from. So when you notice that your 3D reality doesn't reflect your desired yet, your job's not to panic or stop affirming. Your job is to keep going. You don't stop watering a seed just because it hasn't sprouted. And you don't stop affirming your chosen reality just because the evidence hasn't appeared yet. That would rather be like a marathon runner quitting halfway through the race and saying, running is keeping me from the finish line. It makes no sense. Persistence is not a delay. Persistence is the delivery mechanism. Without it, nothing changes because the mind defaults to what's familiar. If you don't install a new pattern consciously, the old one continues by default.
And here's the neuroscience behind it. The brain changes through a process called neuroplasticity. That's how new beliefs are installed. When you persist in a thought, you create and strengthen neural pathways. Do it often enough, and that pathway becomes your brain's go-to route. That's when the new belief feels natural. That's when the identity shift has taken root. And that's really what manifestation is. It's an identity based change. You don't just get the thing you want, you become the person who has it. And that kind of identity shift doesn't happen from a one time mental rehearsal, it happens from persistent rehearsal, from holding the inner state until it stabilizes. That's why people who try to avoid persistence or mock it as robotic affirming often end up confused by why their results are inconsistent. They haven't stayed long enough at the new identity for it to take hold. So we're not talking about obsessive micromanaging. We're talking about gentle, consistent mental redirection. Training your awareness to keep choosing the new thought instead of the old one until the new one feels like home.
To wrap this up, let's be very clear. Persistence isn't something to fear, it's something to use. The thoughts you persist in become the beliefs you live from. The beliefs you live from shape the reality you experience. And that sequence is not up for debate. It's observable, repeatable, and reliable. So if your life isn't yet matching your desire, the question isn't, should I stop persisting? The real question is, what am I persisting in? Are you persisting in your old identity, or are you committing to the new one? Because reality always catches up to where your attention lives most consistently. If you don't persist, you drift. If you drift, you default. And if you default, you repeat. So choose your thoughts deliberately. Repeat them consistently and stay the course.
That is the essence of conscious creation. It's not about hacks or loopholes or bypasses. It's about deliberate repetition of truth until that truth becomes your experience. So no, persistence isn't the problem. It's actually the path. It's how you take your power back, rewire your inner world, and reshape your external reality. Stop waiting, stop bouncing between methods, stop theory repetition, and start doing what works. Persist with clarity, with calm, and with full confidence that what you repeat will become what you live.
If you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a like. It really helps more people find grounded, no-fluff content like this. Drop a comment if you've got thoughts, questions, or even pushback. We're here for honest conversation, not just to be an echo chamber. And of course, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, so you don't miss the future deep dives like this one. Until next time, think differently, dream boldly, and create consciously.